This video, what I want to do is walk through a couple steps around managing meetings when you're presenting by yourself. So what I'm going to do now is let's go into a meeting. Let's talk through a couple different scenarios. All right, so we're in a meeting. We're going to go ahead and present and converse with a bunch of attendees. And when you pull up the meeting options or the presentation options, you'll see here we've got desktop, right? The ability to share a particular screen that you may have up and running. If you've got dual or 3 or 4 monitors, you'll be able to see screen 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you'll be able to select the entire screen to share content. You also have the opportunity to share a specific application window that may be open. And again, that's going to take over the full screen and allow you to present that content that's in that specific application window. The third piece is you have the ability to present right directly from the PowerPoint application itself, which basically brings in PowerPoint right into the Teams meeting. So let's actually start with that one first. So if you're by yourself, obviously the things you need to keep an eye out for is maybe conversation threads that are happening in the chat window, as well as maybe things that, people coming into the lobby, or if you've got somebody that has some background noise and you need to quickly go and find them and mute them. So one of the nice things about using the PowerPoint presentation mode within the Teams client is you still have full access and control to the fundamental Teams client while still being able to go through and present slide by slide. So you'll see here I've got the slide controls allowing me to go forward as well as backwards across the particular slides in this deck. When I go into the right here and within the control bar, you'll see I've got the ability to get in and see simultaneously the chat window where conversations may be happening that I may need to answer questions or be engaged into some dialogue, as well as you can quickly get to the meeting attendee window. And here you're going to be able to go in and mute individuals, as well as maybe either add another individual into the call, or take people that might have been coming into the meeting and sitting in the lobby, right, and allow them entry. So real convenient. All of your controls, everything's happening within the Teams client. You're on a single computer and you're presenting by yourself, right? Super easy and simple to manage in that respect. Now let's talk about the other modalities. When you're sharing your window, an individual application window, where you're sharing a desktop, you're going to take over pretty much the entire screen. And you'll see that a lot of the Teams controls and navigation are kind of obviously out of the way because I'm at this point sharing the particular application. In this case, I've opened up Visual Studio Code. Maybe I'm presenting or showing some coding functionality to some individuals. And at this point, I don't have access, as you can see, to the conversation window or the attendee list. Now, I do have this control window. I can obviously switch back, go into Teams, and stop presenting. But obviously, that's not ideal because you're in the middle of, obviously presenting and want to stay engaged in your content and keep your viewers there. Now, if you had dual monitors or even 3 monitors, one of the great pieces is you can actually have the Teams client itself, the core components, sitting up in another window, and then your application or your desktop that you want to share sitting inside of another window. Now here you'll be able to go in, still be able to maintain and monitor the chat window, still be able to maintain and monitor the attendee list. But what do you do in a situation where you only have one monitor? Well, here's where I happen to use my mobile phone very, very often. So let me switch over right now and bring in my mobile phone for a moment. All right, so what we've got here, as you can see, I've got my mobile phone on the right, still presenting and sharing there on that left side from the computer component. Now, if I wanted to stay engaged into the conversation thread or I needed to get into the attendee list, I can, in essence, use my mobile phone as a companion to this Teams meeting. So one of the things you'll notice is when I first join into the Teams meeting, the Teams client on my mobile device is recognizing that I'm actually currently in a meeting. That's giving me a very quick way to join into the meeting and basically taking the microphone as well as the video, shutting it off, and just bringing me right into the meeting to see the content and conversations that are happening. Now, in this case, let's say there's some conversation thread going and I want to monitor it. Well, I can click on the conversation button that was up in the top right there, and now you can see I can monitor the conversation thread. So if I'm in the middle of presenting my desktop or I'm in the middle of presenting an individual screen or an application, I can still, using my mobile device, continue to monitor what's going on in the conversation threads and be able to obviously inject and converse with the individuals about the topics that are being discussed. I also have the ability to go back and let me just click on the People button, you'll see here I've got the attendee list. So if somebody's come off mute, they're introducing background noise, or some folks maybe came in a little bit late to the meeting and they're stuck in the lobby, I have the ability now to come into this section and go ahead and basically allow them into the call. So that's definitely one quick way to do that is, again, using your mobile device, in essence, as a companion to your current meetings. So let's see here. Let me switch back. And again, as you see here, I can obviously switch my modality. Now, in this case, again, I shut down that meeting. And, again, I can still see the conversation thread or the meeting attendee. But again, this will be the same if I did it from window or desktop. So if I share the desktop, again, it's going to take over the entire screen and present that information there. Now, again, if I had multiple screens, you'd see screen 1, screen 2, etc. So I do have the ability in those scenarios to obviously have the Teams client sitting in one window, again, and having my individual screen or particular window from an application presented up there. So when you get a chance, next time you're in a Teams meeting and you want to try the client out, go right into your mobile device. You'll see that notification that you're actively in a Teams meeting. Hit join, and then you can obviously participate and monitor, different components of the meeting from different devices. So it's a great way to sort of use, again, the mobile device as a companion to your meeting environments.